starting the fission process within the reactor.
160 feet, dive by, achieve and watch over the 1 and C, dive, 2 blasts of diving.
The ETs, they are the ones who actually move control rods in and out and actually start up the reactor.
AIM is be part of a watch team that supports safe reactor operation to provide propulsion for our carriers and our submarines.
Our job consists of starting up, shutting down nuclear reactor, and doing maintenance on equipment related to reactor safety.
If there are any cautions, you have caution for
pressure, temperature, flow through the primary systems. We take care of the interface between how we're able to obtain that information and see it in our control consoles. There are a lot of circuit cards that we do maintenance on.
Right now we are reinstalling a capacitor bank. I joined straight out of high school. I knew that I wanted to do something science related with my career and something engineering related.
So I was like, in 3 years, will anyone in my graduating class be operating a nuclear reactor? Probably not.
It may seem daunting, but it's honestly easy after you get used to it.
We have 6 different nitrogen banks.
So the nuclear reactor is pretty amazing. These few hundred pounds of uranium are doing more work than you could even imagine.
The reactor is self-sustaining. We can go underway for months at a time now.
There's never been a nuclear accident associated with naval nuclear power. It's pretty impressive.
I wanted something that challenged me. I'm really into academics. I love school, so it really just set me up for what I was looking for.
How the ones and zeros translate from a user's email, how do they get to the shore? Because there's no cable lines, there's no fiber lines, and that's our job completely.
IT, as a civilian job, you're sitting in a cubicle and you're the network administrator. And IT on the Navy side, you are in charge of RF, the spectrum management. You're also in charge of mobile communications and ensuring like the SEAL teams complete their missions.
We are the heart of all communications off the ship for everybody. So if that goes down.
You have one of these patch cables, number 11, 13 megahertz. You're gonna select one of these coupler jars that actually has that frequency, which tunes that frequency, and that's it.
I'm not just sitting at a desk. I can go out and do antenna maintenance, satellite communications from the ship to the shore. I can do communications between a radio from a ship to a ship in the middle of the ocean.
As far as combat, maintaining and ensuring that that equipment is able to display correct and real-time information for our OSs, our tactical action officers is vital.
It takes more than just one IT. You actually do it as a team. The camaraderie between it, I fell in love with that aspect.
When you take victories against inanimate objects, those are the best days.
In the presence of water will cause fission. That chain reaction produces heat. We use that heat to generate steam. The steam we use for propulsion and to make electric power.
The job in the engineering plant in the submarine and the job in the engineering plant in the carrier are pretty much identical.
It starts with the power distribution, so that's that turbine-driven electrical generator, and everything from there goes out across the ship. Every bit of light that we see on board this vessel is produced by us.
We always have a standby generator, so if we lose one, parallel it in and have 2 generators running within probably 3 minutes.
We do maintenance on all electrical equipment on the submarine, not just in the engine room for the reactor.
As far as pumps, as far as the motor controllers for those pumps, circuit breakers.
2E, track 4, 0, DT, track 5, circuit breaker. All right.
So any loose bolts, any chips in the arc chutes here, everything checks out.
We use a lot of different types of multimeters to measure the voltage or the resistance or the current of components. We'll check the insulation of it to make sure that something is operating at full efficiency and it isn't starting to wear out over time.
You get to work with people who are super intelligent, who love what they do and will challenge you.
It's actually a really big space down there, and then you interact with, the mechanics, the ETs on a daily basis.
On a carrier, your job is a little bit more specialized, where you do mostly just maintenance and qualifications, whereas on a submarine, there's very limited space, so there's very limited people. Everybody has more collateral duties.
I think one of the coolest things about working with nuclear reactors is the fact that this ship, besides the fact that humans have to operate it, could go to sea for years and never have to come in for fuel.
The enlistment bonus is massive now, $40,000, just to essentially make it through the school. On top of that, re-enlistment bonus is $100,000, and you get half of that right away, so $50,000 in your bank account one day. It's pretty nice.
我叫杜安玲，我是一个海军的翻译者，我上过国防语言学院学习中文。
We're the Navy's linguists, but more than that, we are generally going to be working in intelligence. We really become cultural experts. We can travel. There's a lot of jobs that are open to us because of that knowledge.
Understanding connotation, you're not only translating the language, but you're trying to interpret the intent of that communicant in that conversation.
Whether it be, an operation on the ground in Afghanistan, whether it's a fleet operating in the South China Sea, we have the knowledge to make sure the reporting information gets out correctly to protect troops, real people's lives, make policy decisions. So really the reporting and the briefs that we give can go a lot of places.
You go through the Defense Language Institute. They build your language skills from the ground up.
You are completely immersed. You're doing, at the minimum, 40 hours a week in class, which are very small classrooms, with native speaking teachers. So the teachers are extremely highly educated, their English is great, but when you step in that classroom day one, there's no more English. When that fire's lit and you really experience for the first time what it's like to be bilingual and to go somewhere and completely never use a word of English and be able to get through a social interaction, it's a very cool experience, and you have a better appreciation and want to learn more languages.
I will start up the pumps. I'll start up the turbines in order to propel the ship.
Nuclear machinist mates are trained to operate propulsion plants on submarines and aircraft carriers. Piping systems is the main thing that we work with, so it's pulling apart high pressure systems that have different fluids in them, so whether that be high pressure air or some other gas inside the piping, as well as fluids such as water, oil, fuel.
We're checking for chloride and make sure that there's not a lot in it.
We're testing oil just to make sure that we don't have any water or sediment in there.
For 2 years, we go to school and you learn about things in a book, and that was the hardest part for me. But when you actually get to the boat and you can feel and touch and see all the things you've read about for 2 years, there's nothing like it.
We pride ourselves in how much we know about the plant, all about knowing what you're doing, not just looking at a procedure.
We always have training on different subjects to improve our knowledge, and then there's drills that we run to practice our efficiency, make sure we're ready for any casualties that might come up.
Engineer casualty, high vibes, 1 GTG.
And I was woken up at 2 in the morning for some drills.
Start up the pumps.
GD1 is open?
Great.
With your recruiter, you decide to sign a contract to be a nuke, and you get a sign-on bonus for that. In school, they teach you from the very basics, like I kid you not, adding and subtracting to nuclear theory. It's hard, and not everyone can do it, but a lot of people that didn't think they could do it have been able to do it.
Boeing, Tesla, Amazon, Facebook, they're actively hunting for nukes that are getting out of the Navy because they know that if they sit you down in front of a book and they give you some training on something that you will be able to get it right the first time.